Hello, in this video we'll discuss some of the Sententiae in Chapter 3, as well as a couple of the English to Latin practice and review sentences at the end as well. As always, you should translate the others on your own, and we'll talk about them in conferencing. So let's look at the first sentence. Debetis amici de populo Romano cogitare. First up we have the verb, debetis. This verb is in the first chapter's vocabulary. If you don't remember what it means, go have a look at Chapter 1's vocab on page 6. The next step is to think about the ending. If you don't remember which ending this is, that is, tis, go ahead and look it up in the chart on page 4. If you're back, you know that this means y'all ought. That is, you plural ought. Wheelock has set amici off in commas to show that this is, well, what do you think this is? Or even better, what gender is this? This is either amicus or amica, right? Either masculine or feminine. So clearly, if you've thought about this for a second, this is second declension. There's no I ending in the first declension. So this must be masculine friends. Now, is this genitive, singular, or nominative plural, or maybe vocative? Just looking at it, it could be any of those. Well, I would call this vocative. You ought, oh friends. Vocative plural. Now the next verb, cogitare. This is the infinitive that goes with y'all ought. You all ought to do something. Well, pause if you need to remind yourself what cogitare means. It means to think. So far we have you all ought, friends, to think. To think about what? Well, de will tell us that. To think about populo Romano, the Roman people. One last question. What case is populo Romano? It has to be ablative because of de. Whenever something comes after de, it's in the ablative. Now on to Sententiae number 4. Pauci viri sapientiae student. The verb is glossed for us. It's studere. It means to be eager for. And this will always take the dative. So that's most of the work done for us right there. What we need to figure out is the ending of student. This is the verb, of course, not the English word student. This is the third person plural. So we're looking for a they subject. And we have one. Viri. Men are eager for. And men are eager for the dative, right? Whatever comes after student has to be in the dative. Well, here we have a dative ending, sapientiae. Wisdom. Men are eager for wisdom. Well, this is an awfully optimistic sentence, is it not? But what's this here? Pauci, an adjective. So it's actually few men, and I guess I should not have capitalized that. Few men are eager for wisdom. On to sentence number 6. Kimon, via magnae famae, magnam benevolentiam habet. So, where's the verb? All the way at the end, habet. What sort of ending do we have? This is this T here, third person singular. So we're looking for a he, she, or it. And here's a name, Kimon. And Wheelock tells us that this is in the nominative form. So that's that. Kimon has. What does Kimon have? We need something in the accusative. Here's a couple of M's that help us out. Benevolentiam, magnum benevolentiam. And this word, benevolentiam, should not be too tough. Though, when Wheelock thinks that the word should be obvious to a speaker of English, he just indicates that by writing that equals English. And he's right, this word is pretty obvious. Kimon has great benevolence. Kimon has great benevolence. But what's this Via magnae famae stuff. Via is the nominative. Is that the subject too? Well, sort of. It's an apposition to kimon. So kimon, and then we can kind of insert this here, a man of great fame. And maybe we can set this off in commas. Has great benevolence. Moving on. Wheelock does something weird in number 7, and he does this on more than one occasion. He gives you a bit of Latin grammar in the Sententiae before he tells you what it's all about. This is one of those situations, but he does give us some help in the gloss. Semper avaris egit. He gives us egere. He glosses that for us. To be in need. And this is the third person singular, so it's a he, she, or it subject. He, she, or it is in need. Then we have this adverb here, semper, as in like semper fi. So someone is always in need. But who? All we have now is this masculine singular adjective, avaris, and no noun to go with it. So what do? Well, Wheelock gives us a hint. We should treat an adjective with no noun as though it read, avarus via. Or alternately, if it were a feminine noun, we'd want to read it as, we'd come across avara, and we'd want to read it as avara femina, maybe. So, the greedy man. And I did not leave myself enough room. The greedy man is always in need. So, we continue our pompous moralizing in sentence number 9. Pecunia avarum irritat non satiat. We have the same situation here as in number 7, but this time Wheelock doesn't help us. So let's start with the verbs. Irritat, satiat. And these are separated by a comma here. So we have two clauses here. Irritat, third person singular, right? We have this T here. Same thing with satiat. So again, we're looking for he, she, or it. Is anything here in the nominative form something that could be the subject? Yep. Pecunia, money. So it's an it, or a she, because it's a first declension feminine. So what we have so far is money excites. Irritat. That's glossed as excites. Well, what does money excite? Again, we just have a masculine adjective with no noun. So again, we treat this as though the word via, or in this case virum, the accusative, were to come after it. Money excites the greedy man. And then we have non satiat. It does not satiate him, or it does not satisfy him. And I'm just, this word him is not explicitly in the sentence because you can read it this way. Money excites the greedy man, does not satiate the greedy man, or him. And here's sentence number 10. Secrete amicos admone lauda palam. We get a couple of odd adverbs here. They're glossed, but still, I thought I'd help you out here. The verbs are both in the imperative. Can you find them? Pause and think for a moment. Well, they're admone and lauda, separated by the semicolon, which again would not exist in real Latin, but Wheelock gives us modern punctuation to help us out. So we have admonish and praise. So whom should we admonish and praise? Well, here's something in the accusative. Amicos, friends. So admonish friends, and we could also say, repeat it here, praise friends. We'll put that in brackets, though, to show that it's a repetition. And now the adverbs. Admonish your friends secretly. I don't think I have enough room here, so I'll write it down here. Admonish your friends, admonish friends secretly. Praise friends, and then palam, openly. So that's it for the Sententiae Antiquae. Let's have a quick look at some of these English to Latin sentences. from page 21 of the Practice and Review. I won't usually look at the Latin to English Practice and Review sentences, but it's always a good intellectual exercise to work on English to Latin sentences. So let's look at a couple. 9 and 10 on page 21. Today, you have much fame in your country. Let's start with the verb. You have. So the infinitive form would be habere, and now we just need to make it you, so habes. And we might as well stick with the word order. So let's go to today. Hodie. Hodie habes. Much fame. Well, that's going to be magna fama, but that's the nominative. We need the accusative in the singular, which is always an M. Magnam famam. Now, in, well, that's the easiest preposition in Latin, in. And now we need your country. Your, tua, and country, patria. So in tua patria. But this is not, what case is tua patria? It's after in. That has to be ablative. So we'll throw these little macrons over the A's just to show that that's ablative. Even though, again, that would not exist in real Latin. So, hodie habes magnam famam in tua patria. Now on to the next sentence, which is a little bit more difficult. Number 10. We see great fortune in your daughters' lives, my friend. We have we see. Well, okay, see is videre. And then we have to make it we. So we de, and then the ending for the third person plural, videmus. And then great fortune. Videmos, and that would be magna fortuna. But again, we need it in the accusative because this is not the subject. So videmus magnam fortunam. And then we have the easiest preposition in Latin, in. Then we'll probably want to go to the lives, because this is going to be genitive. We can put the genitive anywhere we want, because word order doesn't matter, but let's just make it easy and go to lives first. We need the plural, because it's more than one life, and after in comes what? The ablative. So in vitis. And then to make this possessive, you can see this is possessive, your daughters, we will use the genitive. In vitis tuarum filiarum, the plural genitive. And then we have my friend. This should be vocative, right? And Wheelock actually doesn't, as far as I can tell from the text, you wouldn't know what the vocative of meos is yet. So we can leave that off if we want. I'll give it to you, but we can just say friend, singular, vocative masculine is going to be amice. We can also put me here, amice me, my friend. But as far as I can tell that from Wheelock's text, you wouldn't know that yet. That's it. Look at the other Sententiae and the text from Horace, and we'll talk about them in conferencing.